First Nations. I want to give you a sense. My name is Adrian. I'm BC's Minister of Energy and Climate Solutions. I'm the MLA for Vancouver-Renfrew. And I'm honored to be your MC today. I just want to give you a sense of what you're going to hear today. You're going to hear some speeches. Premier David Eby will be speaking. MLA Lawrence Mock on behalf of the official opposition, the MLA for the East. Rob Botterill, House Leader of the BC Green Party, will be speaking. And then Andy Pham will be speaking, who's all of you know is a community and industry leader in the Vietnamese Canadian community. Welcome to everybody. I wanted to just say in starting that we in British Columbia had a murderous and terrible event happen to our communities on Saturday. That I know that there are people here who knew one of the families who lost their lives, and that this is profoundly difficult. And on this sad occasion, it adds sadness and solemn, I think, tone to our occasion. And so we acknowledge them. So what I would like to ask, if it's possible, to have in your memories for everyone to rise at the beginning for a brief moment of silence for people, for the families of those who are affected by the Lapu-Lapu massacre this week. Thank you. Today is a day that recognizes, I think, extraordinary events in history that have touched the lives of all of the people in this room and millions of others in our country and millions of others more around the world. 50 years ago today was the end of the Vietnam War, the fall of Saigon, known as to some people in this room as Black April. The end of 10,000 days of war in Vietnam. And what followed that was a period, sadly, of political repression that had serious consequences. And as a consequence, millions of people had to and chose to leave Vietnam. And the significance of that, I think, is profound. People don't leave the only place they've known, the only place they loved, for no reason. They leave, and it is a consequence of repression. So what followed that, of course, is the departure, in many cases, in the most dangerous of conditions, by boat, of people from Vietnam. More than 800,000 people arrived at UN-sponsored refugee camps around the world, and hundreds of thousands of people, according to the UN High Commission on Refugees, died en route because of capsized boats, because of hunger, because of pirates. It was a life-changing and brutal experience. And the people involved showed courage that I don't think any of us can understand. Subsequent to that, of course, people had to, were often left in refugee camps for long periods of time. And the world eventually responded. And I think it is one of the greatest moments of Canadian history that Canada, after the United States, welcomed the most refugees, the most Vietnamese refugees in the world. And in addition to that, welcomed refugees from Cambodia and Laos, some 40,000 between those two countries as well. It is a profound moment. And in the first 2 years, 1979 and 1980, of the RIO program, the majority of refugees were sponsored by community groups, by churches and synagogues and temples and people across our countries. What an achievement. What a moment for our country. after that was not an easy period as well. People were coming to a new country. They'd suffered things that we could not imagine suffering, and then they became Canadians, and they contribute so much to our country, and the people here and the people that we represent demonstrate that. So what I would say on this day, on this solemn anniversary, is Cameron, thank you to you. Thank you to what we are doing together. Thank you for what Vietnamese Canadians will continue to contribute to our country. It's my honor to introduce the Premier of British Columbia, John Adrian.
Thanks, Adrian. And so good to see our friends here from the Vietnamese community today. Welcome to the Legislative Assembly. Thank you for joining us. And just before I begin, I wanted to express my appreciation to Minister Adrian Dix. Minister Dix has worked with the Vietnamese community for many years, has spearheaded hosting this event here at the legislature. And I want to really express my appreciation to him for ensuring that we mark and remember the journey to freedom and all of the sacrifices that were made by Vietnamese Canadians and their families in that horrific time. I think you're going to remember. It's hard for me to imagine packing up my family on a moment's notice to try to relocate to a place where we don't speak a language, where we don't have any connections, and to be facing such active hostility at home and in any place where we attempted to settle. But that is exactly the reality that was faced by so many families as they fled after the fall of Saigon. They fled Vietnam, also Laos and Cambodia. As a parent, though, I know that looking after my kids in a moment of desperation would be the first priority, and the courage and the stamina, the bravery of those people who fled Vietnam to protect their families, to save their lives. Even those that weren't able to make it, those that drowned, those that were murdered, to have a day to commemorate that bravery, that sacrifice that it takes to build a new life in a safer place so that your kids and your grandkids, that it's just a memory for them, or a distant memory, or a story that they've heard as they build a prosperous life for themselves in a new place. It's a remarkable thing. You know, when I think about the strengths of the place we call home, this is a story I shared last year. I'll share it again. The story really illustrates why I love this province so much. In Skeena, there was a local church community group. They heard about the plight of people fleeing Vietnam. They said, well, we should sponsor someone. And I mean, I'm trying to imagine leaving Vietnam and ending up in Skeena. Be a big transition. They said, you know, we'll create a safe place. And they welcomed the Wing family in to Skeena. And it was about 11 months after the family landed, they had a daughter. Close to Christmas time. They named Carol. Christmas Carol, right? It's a beautiful name. Carol at the local high school was a teacher that was very enthusiastic about wrestling of all things, and was the wrestling coach at the high school and taught Carol how to wrestle. And she became an Olympic champion for Canada, winning 2 medals for our country and representing us at the Olympics. It's just one person. We can talk about novelists or filmmakers or entrepreneurs. The contributions of the Vietnamese community to our province are countless. And they come out of a moment of incredible tragedy and devastation. And that's what I love about this province, is even in our most challenging moments, we come together and amazing things happen. And I'm so proud of that group in Skeena that stepped up and said, yes, we want to create a safe place. I'm so proud of Carol and her family who relocated against the odds, who survived, who built a new life for themselves, protected their baby daughter so that she could be a world champion. That's the story of British Columbia right there. And the story of British Columbia is the story of the Vietnamese community here. And your courage, and your fortitude, and your endurance in the face of overwhelming odds. So I'm so glad that we're here recognizing you for that today. I'm so glad we're recognizing your journey to freedom. And I hope we celebrate every year, forever, the remarkable contributions of the Vietnamese community and your courage in the moments of darkness and turning them into such a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Eby, and it's now my honor to introduce Lawrence Moss, the MLA for Refugees, and who's representing the official opposition Conservative Party.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we gather to mark Journey to Freedom Day, a solemn and powerful reminder of the courage, sacrifice, and resilience of Vietnamese refugees who fled tyranny in search of freedom, dignity, and hope. For the Vietnamese community in British Columbia and in Canada, April 30th is not just a date in history. It is a memory carried in the hearts of families who escaped persecution, who braved dangerous waters as boat people, and who arrived on distant shores with little more than their faith and determination. Their journey was not an easy one. It was marked by fear, loss, and hardship. But it was also marked by incredible strength, the strength to believe in a better future, and the strength to rebuild lives here in British Columbia and across the country, contributing to the fabric of this great nation. Journey to Freedom Day is about remembering the horrors of oppression, but also celebrating the triumph of the human spirit, the triumph of freedom over fear, and of hope over despair. It is a day for all of us as Canadians to reflect on the value of freedom, to remember that it is not something that we inherit passively. It is something we must cherish, protect, and defend all the time. To the Vietnamese Canadian community, I want to say that your story is one of courage and strong determination. Your many contributions have made Canada stronger, richer, and more compassionate. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey with us. And thank you for reminding us of what freedom truly means.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. And it's now my pleasure to introduce the Host Leader of the BC Green Party, the MLA for Saanich, Gulf Islands, Broadwater.
Today we commemorate the mass migration of Vietnamese refugees at the end of the Vietnam War. It's been 50 years since the fall of Saigon, but the implications of that moment continue to echo through generations and repeat across cultures. It's a day of mixed emotions. Our hearts are heavy, remembering the suffering and lives lost as tens of thousands of people attempted the dangerous journey. It's also a day of pride, as it marked a turning point in Canada's immigration policy. Never before in history had Canada welcomed so many refugees in so little time. Welcoming immigrants and refugees has become a cornerstone of our Canadian identity. On Journey to Freedom Day, I'm also feeling gratitude for the hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese Canadians who have shaped our country and made it a better place for all of us. It's Canada, it's BC. You've helped make it the most wonderful, special part of this world. You know, without the countless contributions of Vietnamese Canadians, our country and our province would be incomplete. The Vietnamese refugee crisis was the inspiration for Canada's private sponsorship program, the first of its kind in the world. It changed the way Canadians saw their role in refugee resettlement, and we've proudly stepped up again and again. Vietnamese refugees have also continued to step up. I know of Vietnamese refugees who, after taking their own journey to freedom, offered their homes to Syrian refugees. Decades later, Vietnamese refugees, their children, and later waves of immigrants are now community leaders, advocates, and mentors. And a wonderful part for me is part of my extended family. These are people who uplift communities across Canada, both in and out of the spotlight. In the wake of the terrible tragedy at last Saturday's Filipino Festival, Canadians are feeling deep sorrow, but we've also been reminded of the beautiful diversity of our province and of Canada, and the many cultures that make up our essence. Canada wouldn't be Canada without the Lapu Lapu Festival, without Vietnamese Lunar New Year, without summer powwows and Vaisakhi. There will always be more we can do to make our province more welcoming to newcomers. And after the violence of the past weekend, we must renew our efforts to ensure all people from all cultures feel safe. We must keep gathering. We must keep celebrating. Keep reaching across cultures to build stronger connections in community. That work starts with events like this, and events like this every year for forever, marking the Journey to Freedom Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob. I'm going to give an extended introduction to Andy Pham. Not that people in the community need such an introduction because they know Andy pretty well, but for my colleagues, just to give a sense of his story. Andy escaped from Vietnam in 1980 at a young age with his parents, Tammy and Andre. They spent a few days at sea, then 3 months in Malaysia before being sponsored into Canada with the support of the Mennonite Church in Portage Prairie, Manitoba. Andy received his education in BC at Queen Alexandra Elementary, Gladstone Secondary, and Simon Fraser University. As a Canadian of Vietnamese descent, Andy is honored to have had many opportunities to contribute to the community in different ways. At present, Andy serves as the president of the Appraisal Institute of BC, a board director of the BC Real Estate Association, and a part-time radio host at Lafayette Radio every Saturday morning. Not every. He's also the vice president of asset management at BTO, a global real estate company. It's my honor to introduce Andy.
Thank you, Minister Dix. Thank you, Chairman Dooney. Thank you, Emily Mock and Barrow. And thank you to my fellow guests who have come here today. My name is Andy Pham, and I'm very honored to be here on this solemn occasion to commemorate Journey to Freedom Day. Before I begin my remarks, I would like to share my deepest sympathies to the Filipino communities after the Lapu-Lapu tragedy that occurred. It was tremendously heartbreaking for me, especially after hearing that a Vietnamese family was devastated. Richard Lay, father, Lin Huang, mother, and young Katie, daughter, was only 5 years old. The family was devastated at that day. The only remaining survivor was the son, also named Andy, who was only 16. We grieve for your loss and the loss of the community that has been affected after this horrific event. Today, April 30th, 2020, Journey to Freedom Day, marks 50 years since the fall of Saigon. To me, today is a celebration of grit and perseverance of every Vietnamese person in Canada, but also across the Vietnamese diaspora across the world. The Journey to Freedom Day is not just a physical passage. It's a reaffirmation of what I believe we all hold dear. These are the basic tenets of our lives that drive us to pursue all that is right, decent, and common to us all. We support each other, we expose truth, battle against falsehoods, and acts of cruelty and injustice. We fight for the future, for our friends, for our families, for the hopes and dreams that tomorrow exists a better day than today. So I ask all of you today, on Journey to Freedom Day, to all Canadians of every descent that have come here, how can you contribute your special gifts and talents for the betterment of your community? I don't believe that great actions require grand gestures. They only need the commitment of heart, mind, and body with a sincere intent from one person, then another, then another. Afterwards, before you know it, there will be a tidal wave of people that realize that what they thought was small has become big indeed, and the impact will be felt across the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. And so appreciate it. I think Andy's right. This is an opportunity for learning. There is extraordinary literature and books written on the subject of and more, of course, sort of what's happened since the experience of the Vietnamese Canadian community in its journey to freedom. One was just published, and I want to acknowledge it. I think Tim is here. And he's written a book, and I encourage people to read it. It is a story of many that's absolutely, I think, transformational in understanding what occurred in the past, which is much easier to understand in the lives of one or two people sometimes than it is in the lives of millions of people. So thank you for being here, and thank you for writing the book. At this time, I'm going to invite Andy back and invite Peter and Didi back to the podium for the presentations to all of the MLAs who are here. The Vietnamese community, Canadian community, wanted to do this to MLAs, for MLAs who have joined us here today. And maybe the MLAs can put their hands up so we can see how many are here and are joining us today. And so if you could come back, and we'll take and present these together. So let's do that. I'm going over here.
Yeah. Please.
Let's get all the MLAs to stand up here. We'll make it easier for us.
Yeah, just in one long line.
One long line is good.
Yeah, need instructions. Sorry. One long line would be great.
Let's combine. got it. Okay, everyone be seated. And thank you for that presentation. Thank you for that gift to LA today on behalf of the whole team. Please come on up.
I just want to say a few things about the coin because it has quite a bit of significance. Now, I promise to make it quick because there's a lot of good Vietnamese food out there. So on the front of the coin, you're going to have the flag of the Republic and also the countries that supported the Vietnamese people when they fled, that took in the refugees. So that's the front. And on the back, it has quite a few different images and motifs. I'm going to talk about just 3 of them. So the youngest image is the 3rd generation of Vietnamese overseas who are rising up. The second image is the image of the Vietnamese mother, who is always a very, very powerful force within the family. And I can say that from firsthand effects of my own mother, standing right there, and her incredible impact on me that has led to my subsequent contributions to the community. So don't mess with Vietnamese mothers. And the 1st generation, represented by the wise patriarch of the family. So as an elderly man. So that's one of the few images and motifs of the coin. Thank you.
And now, we're going to finish. I'd like to introduce Edison Grant. Edison's a Vancouver entrepreneur and past vice president of the Vietnamese Professional Association of BC, and he is going to be performing today What Chan Vietnam, Vietnamese Footsteps, with his guitar. Please invite all community members. They know the words and they feel like it to sing along here. Welcome to the stage, Edison.
Không, chú quay mà. Trâm Trân vô hát đi, Trân vô hát đi.
The song's called Look Down Việt Nam.
Trân vô hát đi. Don't be shy. That song is a poor choice. Who chose that song? Việt Nam quá hay không đi hát thì hát cái bài cắt chớp. Poor choice.
Ceremony, recognition of Journey to Freedom Day, which became an official day in Canada in 2015, and which we celebrated here every year since, and recognize the contribution of the community. We started the day with a moment of silence. We want to end the day, if we can, also with a moment of silence for people who took that journey to freedom and lost their lives or were affected in their lives. I'd like everyone to rise and join me in a moment of silence when we think and reflect on what we've learned today and about all those people. Thank you. And now there's a significant part that's become a little bit of a tradition here, which is we get to break bread together, we get to eat together. I want to recognize Elisa's Bow and Van Meat Diner in Victoria, which had hugely positive reviews at last year's ceremony. Some of those we've been carefully guarding the food for the participants today, because I think it's really loved. And I want to just end by thanking all of you for coming on a very difficult day and with very difficult memories in your heart and joining us for this recognition today. Thank you very much, and see you next year.